All right, I'm back. Third time's a charm. Let's see how we do. I'll wait for some people to get in so we can try it again. See how I sound. I see 3 people in here, so hopefully one of you will let me know how it's going. We might just have to try it tomorrow. I see 3 people in here, so hopefully
that sounds
one of you
good.
will let me know how it's going. What? It actually is working now? I did nothing. We might just have to try it tomorrow. I literally did nothing but start a new one. That's it. The audacity. Okay, good. She says, sounds good. Crystal clear, good. Yay. You're echoing though. Don't. Well, that's on purpose. No, now listen, that's on purpose. I had myself playing on my phone. That's not an issue. Now listen, that's See? On purpose. I did that on purpose to see how I sounded. All right, we're gonna just go. Again, we're here. We're all here for the third time to talk about the Michael Vaughan case. He went missing on July 27, 2021 in Fruitland, Idaho, near the Ontario-Oregon border. Anywhere roughly around 6:30 p.m. that evening, although I can test that time. And no one has seen him since that day. There were 4 suspects named in November of 2022. And we're going to listen to the only suspect charged in this case, which is Stacey Wondra. And we're going to watch his video footage of the lead up to his confession, air quotes. All right? I feel like I'm in a rush because I don't want to lag again. His confession. I sound good. All right. I sound really good. Okay, perfect. We're going to just roll this beautiful bean footage. Basically, we only got to the part where she's walking up to swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I'm not sure or convinced of that. So this is the detective, one of the detectives on Michael Vaughan's case at the Fruitland Police Department. And you're going to hear some new information that everyone that actually follows this case, even if you don't listen to every single detail, you know the very basics. Most of us do. Okay? And we all assumed from the mother telling us all of this information over time and the associates of said mother, depending on who you talk to, it could be accurate or not. But for the most part, we thought that this detective came right after Michael was reported missing. So it was really shocking to see that she came at like 10 something. We were always told she was almost the first one on scene. Now we know it was Benjamin Key. So there's just a lot of insane stuff, little things. And there's also a big, you could see that there is an issue with chain of custody, the big ones, right? The FBI, ignoring the FBI's advice. So let's just get into it.
Market on an investigation of a missing child.
Yes, I was involved in that investigation.
Okay, and who was the missing child?
Michael Joseph Vaughan.
Okay, and what day did you become involved in the investigation?
July 27th.
Okay, and was that the first day that he went missing?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and where did your investigation start?
I was called approximately 9:30 that night and requested to come back to the police department and assist with staying with the family because we had a missing child.
So she was called at 9:30. Hi, Mr. Eve. Thank you for helping me with this internet issue, even though I did nothing. You really didn't do much either. Thank you. So welcome in. And yes, Lenny, those little things do add up. So she said that she got a call at 9:30 at night. Michael Vaughan was reported missing at 7:21 p.m. and he went missing an hour or more so before that. That's a lot of time, okay? On both sides of this. So why was she called? Listen to what she says again and what she does when she gets there.
Was that the day is that the first day that he went missing?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and where did your investigation start?
I was called approximately 9:30 that night and requested to come back to the police department and assist with staying with the family because we had a missing child. I arrived around 10:20 p.m.
Okay.
So she was called to come to the Fruitland Police Department to go to the home where the family is. Why do you think that would be? Well, if you listen to any of the parents' testimony from this prelim, you will know, yes, I'm back. I'm not giving up. No, ma'am. If you remember, or if you haven't heard of it, I'll tell you. They did not sit still. They did not want to wait for anything. They could not be tamed. They were running amok searching for their child, which I understand that logic. But like I've said before, Athena Strand knew, the mother knew not to move. When the detective said we have to run these dogs through, she understood and sat in her Jeep, and it was hard. If anybody has ever heard of that testimony, I'm sure that was devastatingly hard, right? I could not imagine. It would be very tempting for me to want to go search because that's just what you do. However, when police tell you to do something, you do it because it's for the best interest of the child. And so, why do I say this? Well, first of all, scent contamination, which I definitely believe happened in this case. But secondly, they have to get your story first. That's their job. They have to get the details, even if you don't know at the moment. They have to get that initial background so that they can help find, a missing child. Right? Exactly, Sunflower. That poor mama drove down, I think she came from Oklahoma, right? And I know that drive. My father lives there. And, in between the two, it's about the same distance. And sometimes you can make it in 5 hours. Sometimes if you're in an emergency, you make it in 2.5. And I know she did that. So you have to do what you have to do. But I understand, in the moment. But if you're told to sit, you do it. You have to. You should, at least. No matter how honorary you think you should be. So I think, in my own opinion, this is absolute speculation, but it's kind of one of those things where it's pretty obvious. When the mother and the father testified that they did not sit down, they went searching high and low everywhere. She was called because I think they couldn't keep them at the house. That's why I think she was called.
And were there any concerns initially that he could have walked off or just be missing in like the fields that are near the home or anything like this?
Definitely.
Okay, and did you guys, I guess, what efforts were made to try to locate Michael on the walk-off period?
We had professional search groups. We had volunteers. We had helicopters. We had dogs. We had, you name it. If we could get it, we brought them in to help us. Dogs, you name it.
Okay, and did you guys search the fields and the canals around the property or around where Michael lives?
Yes, we did.
And Did you investigate over, was it the West County? Did you investigate over that area?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And did you find any sign of like land abuse in the investigation of the landscaper, the joggers around where the
No.
Duke, the prosecutor. Tea time with tea time with Duke, as we say, as we jokingly say behind the scenes here, because he needs to spill the tea here. She just said, or he asked her, did you investigate and find anything in relation to Michael's, in regards to the landscaper and the jogger? This was the first time that I've ever officially heard of a jogger being, or not a jogger, excuse me, the landscaper being looked into. There is a landscaper that I heard of early on. Didn't know who it was exactly. And I didn't know, which company. There's lots of landscapers in Payette County, in Idaho alone, or in that area. So I was like, who is this? Well, there is a landscaper you could see him, bless his heart, on Google Maps. And I know that he lives in that Hidden Meadows neighborhood across from where Michael Vaughan's street is. And yeah, the landscaper. So they're in that little area, not too far from Red Wing, actually, just a few blocks over. And that's just one of many possibilities. I mean, there's others in that neighborhood, and they're, one of them owns, I think the one that they're talking about, they own the landscaping company, and they do like the splash pad landscaping and the bluffs landscaping, amongst others. So it's hard to know. But she specifically is stating that they don't have anything to do with it. So that was interesting. Just wanted to point that out.
Okay. At what point did the investigation turn towards looking for a bad actor?
After we had so many search crews out on foot and everything, we had professional search crews looking for footprints along the roadway to see if maybe he entered a field somewhere. That was never seen. We had dogs. Michael also had a pair of new flip-flops that he wasn't quite used to wearing, and that would fall off his feet. That was reported by witnesses who saw him on 9th Street. So he wasn't very good with walking with those shoes.
Okay, so I'm very, very interested to see the reports of him last being seen in flip-flops. These were just bought by the mother from her work, I guess, 3 days prior. And this, I'm not sure. I think they look like beach flops, right? So other people saw him in flip-flops, but the father does not remember seeing him in flip-flops, that he was barefoot the last time he saw him, per his testimony. Yeah, that's interesting. So did he literally put his flip-flops on and no one hears the flip-flop? I will remind everyone, it's very important to know that no one saw him besides the dad after, I would say 3:45 to 4 for the sister, and I'm going to stick with 4 or 4:30 for the brother. And I only know that because of the people that they either spoken to directly or indirectly later on about what they saw. I'm talking about the siblings. Their testimony is going to be crucial. It's just the way it is because they were there before he went missing. The only person that wasn't was grandfather and the grandpa who owns that home that they live in, and the mother. Okay. Those are the two that were not present. Now, if we want to contest the time he disappeared, I would gladly do that. But I think we'll save that for another day.
So the likelihood of him walking through a field, especially they were irrigated fields, he would most definitely lose a shoe or something like that. Also, we have video off of 8th Street of everybody coming and going in the neighborhood. That is the main entrance and exit to those subdivisions. He is not seen in those areas. There was approximately 220 cars that passed within the time frame we were looking at. That's roughly a car every 40 seconds. We interviewed all the people that were in those vehicles. Nobody witnessed seeing Michael at that time. We interviewed the occupants of residences within surrounding neighborhoods, approximately 300 homes, and we did not find.
Okay. And so, do you know how many suspects or persons of interest there were during the course of this investigation?
Numerous.
Okay. And as you're going through them, was there one group or individual that stood out to you?
Yes.
Yeah. Who are those people?
The residence was at 1102 Redmond Street in Fayette County, Proven Idaho. It belonged to Sarah Stacey, Wondra, who also had 2 other people in with at the time. Brandon Kirk and Adrian Lucy.
Okay. And is that address in Iowa State?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And
Ride a tricycle in those flip-flops. No, all over the roads and across the neighborhood. That didn't happen. That sweet boy was not on a tricycle in the subdivision across the way, riding a trike, a pink one at that. Well, let me take that back. The pink part, I'm not sure about, because the registered sex offender that's next door to the Wondras, Dorothy Starkey, reported after the fact, days later, because she was told on basically by somebody else that was being interviewed that she allegedly saw him on this tricycle, never gave the color. So I just wanted to be very thorough on that. So, irregardless, where did he get this tricycle if he was actually seen? First of all, that nobody will claim, by the way, it's with the Idaho State Police. Nobody knows who this damn tricycle belongs to. No one. Secondly, flip-flops. I'm an adult and I can't ride a bike with flip-flops. You'll never see me try because I know I'll fail. I will get that son of a bitch stuck in that chain, and here I go, but Miss Eve flying and getting some gravel in her face. It just, now some kids can, but he allegedly could not walk, so I doubt that he could trike. All right, no one saw him on it. In my opinion, I think it's a big fat lie, but we'll see.
And Mr. Wondra, Stacey Wondra, is he in the courtroom today?
He is.
Okay, and can you identify him for us?
He is sitting at the defense table, blue shirt and darker blue tie.
And so, what drew your attention to that household?
I reviewed hours and hours and hours of video footage from that time. I was watching for when Kira came home from school. She walked home from school that day, and she passed through the splash park. So that was an area that I was focused on. I noticed a white car, a Lexus, pulled in the splash pad.
So here we go. She had watched hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of footage. And so in November of 2021, when she sees this footage for the first time that the FBI got for her, which kind of gives you a little clue of where everybody was at. We have no clue. We have no earthly freaking idea, in my opinion only. Just like in the Summer Wells case. No idea. No idea. We have a theory, but that's it. And so she's getting footage from when older sister is coming from color guard practice at the high school, which is about, I want to say, a mile and some change away. And she walked home that day. Bless her heart, she was probably exhausted and hot because it was a hot ass day there. And she's walking through the park, the splash pad, from underneath, I'm assuming, from underneath the overpass, it's called the underpass, the the canal that goes under the highway. And I'm assuming through the little cut through way in between the houses into the park and then on her way home where Michael lives. So she's watching this footage. Do we know exactly what time she, older sister was walking through that park? No idea. We've had 6 different time frames given to us by family members, and we have no idea exactly when. There's been 3:45, 3:48, 3:53, 4:14, or excuse me, 4:15, and 4:48. There's your 6. And it's really sad that I know those by heart. So we'll just say anywhere between 3:45 and 4:48. Okay? In between those times. So I guess prior to that, which is when Stacey Wondra drives up into the splash pad and parks there, and you'll hear about that here in a second. It was, I think, 3:23 to 3:24, something like that. He's only there for a minute. And I guess in November of 2021, it was important enough to look at, well, maybe they were possibly looking at a family member like the older sister. Maybe this was a family targeted situation. This is just me alleging, like me thinking. Like, why would you want to look at, or maybe they're just going through the timeline again. Let's refresh, let's regroup because we got nothing. Maybe.
He pulled up and kind of straddled 2 different spots. The driver got out. Heavy-set man walked around the vehicle, reached over and tested the door handle on the passenger side. I can see his head is up and he's kind of looking around. He walked around the back of the vehicle, and as he went to get in, he waved to somebody that was at the park. There were children at the park at that time.
Oh my God. He waved at somebody. There was children at the park. And in her mind, that must mean he waved at the child and he's a predator. Okay. If you can't tell us exactly who he waved at, if it was a child or not, you're inferencing. You're making us all get spooked out by this character, Stacey. Oh, God. No, not I. If you tell me there was a 5-year-old boy that he was waving at that wasn't Michael or somewhere around that age, then I'd be suspicious.
I found that odd that somebody that wasn't using the facilities, using the bathroom, seemed to be doing anything other than checking the door handle was at the park during the time directly before a child went missing. I reviewed the neighborhood canvas after I was able.
Before we get there, so were you able to identify that individual?
Yes, I was.
And who was it?
It was a white Lexus, which belonged to Stacey Wondra, and from the video photos and YouTube photos, I was easily able to see it was the same person as Stacey Wondra.
And did you ever talk to Stacey Wondra about that?
I did.
Okay. Did he confirm that that was him?
Yes.
Okay. And so, so you see this video. What was the incident that Greg or that brought your attention to Wondra House?
So I pulled the neighborhood canvas warrant that was done on.
The very first time she looks at the footage on the day Michael went missing prior to older sister walking through the splash pad area, she sees this white Lexus pull up and goes, oh, He pulls over for just 1 minute or less, goes around the back of the car over to the passenger side, and she says he was testing the door handle. Oh, okay. Now, how did she get to that conclusion? What does testing the door handle mean? Well, testing the door handle means that You're making sure that it either works or works the way you want it to. So if it was locked, as it was, and he's jiggling it to make sure you can't pop that son of a bitch open, because, those pesky doors that are locked, they, I guess, tend to pop open. I'm wondering, in her mind, what is she trying to fluff us up on again here? Is she trying to make this seem more sus than it is? Yes, in my opinion, absolutely. She's getting us prepared for this weird storyline about Stacey Wondra. In my opinion, I don't want you to feel this way. I'm telling you how I absolutely feel about it, though. No doubt. So what if he just needed something out of that car on that side that was easier to try to get to just by opening the door than, let's say, reaching over, under, and backwards and forwards to try to get something that just slid under the seat, let's say. I think that would be way more logical than having to try to psychologically analyze why Stacey's doing what he's doing.
August 1st by Boise police detectives. And in that report, it stated that they weren't home that day, that they had gone and then towed a vehicle to Kuna, Idaho, which, as I said, I've watched hours and hours of the video footage. No vehicle was being towed out of the area at that time. I found that inconsistent with the evidence. And so that's what initially drew us to the Wondras.
Okay.
So let's back that up. You've got to listen to that again, especially don't look at the chat like I was.
That drew your attention to one.
Let's listen again. So I pulled the neighborhood canvas form that was done on August 1st by Boise police detectives. All right, so on August 1st, Boise police detectives did a canvas search, and they had these little papers that is pretty standard that you take with you, and you kind of just say, who are you, where are you, what address, blah, blah, blah. What's your story? Real quickly. Then, the police or the FBI or whoever's involved Idaho State Police, they can analyze those just like Miss Kelleher did, right? And this is what they said. It is incorrect, obviously, but listen to what the Boise canvas search police officers put down. And in that report, it stated that they weren't home that day, that they had gone and then towed a vehicle to Kuna, Idaho, which... That they towed a vehicle to Kuna, Idaho. Well, we obviously know that they towed a car from Kuna, Idaho, to their home. So who got it wrong first? Did Boise police officers mishear that and wrote it down incorrectly? Or did one of them boof it and say it incorrectly? That's going to be a big difference in everything as to why she was suspicious. Because she's saying, oh, now hold on a minute. I didn't see any cars getting towed out of here. Right? Which I understand that. Got to get your story straight. Or at least she needs to get the story straight. So why is that an issue now as you're testifying? Is that still suspicious? Did you clear it up? Did you investigate? Did you find out if the Boise Police Department wrote that down wrong or heard it wrong? Because we all know they towed a car from Kuna, Idaho, Brandon Shirtliff, one of the suspects named, his mother's house, and they all took it to Red Wing Street. Am I clear as mud on that? I don't see how this could still be, in her mind, not something that could have been an innocent mistake by a police officer writing it down wrong. As I said, I've watched hours and hours of the video footage. No vehicle was being towed out of the area at that time. I found that inconsistent with the evidence. And so that's what initially drove us to the Wondras.
Okay, and
Now, this handsome fella here, I'm just going to, come on now. He is a handsome dude. This is Mr. Govia. And Tony's handsome too, okay? All right, I'm not saying that he's not. But this one's, very handsome. And did you see his face when he heard that? He was like, watch this again. He's like, are you fucking serious?
Was being towed out of the area at that time. I found that inconsistent with the evidence. And so that's what initially drove us to the Wondras.
okay, and did you was there any?
He's like, are you for real? Did you just say that? And even Tony's like, bruh. Okay.
Any evidence that made you believe that they were in the area at that time?
From the video surveillance, I saw that the white Lexus did leave, and then it returned right. I don't want to give a specific time, but it was before the time that Mike went missing, right around 5. And then we saw a vehicle that belonged to the residents leaving at 7:08, and so that would put them in the area at the time. And so that was why we questioned that.
Okay.
Okay, I know I'm stopping a lot. It is what it is. I told you that we're going through this. We're doing it. She just said that, Stacey, in the white Lexus, is leaving the neighborhood after the splash pad debacle at 3:24, coming back around 5. Okay. And you're going to hear in the interview footage here later, that's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said. He did. So, if Michael went missing at 6:15 per the probable cause affidavit states, all based on the father saying what he said, because he's not fallible. He wasn't high or anything, and he didn't know what time. He knew what time it was. I'm being facetious. She's going to take his word for it. Okay. If he went missing at 6:15 and neighbors saw him last at 6:20-ish, 6:30-ish, where was he for 38 minutes when they were coming through at 7:08 p.m. in the truck to go get this car towed from Cuna? Where was Michael for 30 minutes? Nobody saw him? Nobody. Not one CCTV footage saw him or had him on camera. He must have left in a vehicle, right? That's my thought. He had to have left in a vehicle. Now, what time? We'll debate that probably when trial comes, okay? That's going to be a hot button topic, no doubt. So how did they come to the conclusion, prior to all this confession business, that this vehicle leaving at 7:08 had to have had Michael in it when there was no DNA evidence to suggest that? Let's see.
What was the vehicle that you saw leaving at 7:08?
Maroon GMC pickup.
This is the maroon GMC pickup. I did blur the license plate. This is the actual picture of that GMC pickup. A lot of people were thinking that it was some rundown looking raggedy ass piece of shit truck. And kind of it was, but it didn't look that bad. This is what it looked like. And here's the scary part. I swore on my life that there was footage in August of 2021 where the helicopters were flying during the day. Or maybe it was July 28th. It was very early on. The Coast Guard helicopter was flying over the fields and over the Hidden Meadows subdivision area. So there's that footage. that probably has no dig holes in 1102 Red Wing, more than likely. But anyway, I swore on my life that this truck was like in the background that kind of like darted behind the camera and the news lady. I can't find that footage, but for those who are listening out there, if you happen to come across it, it was a Facebook Live that this happened on, and I think it was KIVI or Idaho News 6 footage. They did have like a data breach, and a lot of stuff was like eradicated. A lot of footage was lost. They got hacked. But if y'all can find that, if you ever see it, go through your stuff. I would love, love, love to know if this is the GMC pickup that was in the background. Again, it was either on the 28th of July of 2021 or anywhere in between that time and August 1st. It's for sure in between those days, no doubt about it. I just can't remember exactly. But I would greatly appreciate it if you find it to send it to me. My email is eveeptalk@gmail. All right, thanks.
And then kind of fast forwarding to later on in the investigation, did you have the opportunity to have an interview with Stacey Wondra?
Yes.
Okay, and where did that interview take place?
We did interviews with Stacey Wondra at Washington County Jail. He was incarcerated for related charges.
And did you record those interviews?
All those interviews are recorded.
Okay. This is gonna be a little bit clunky at first, but I'm gonna pull just one. And I'm going to sit down to run through the technology here.
That's what one of the defense lawyers called him during the cross examination that I've already went over. So it's cold case guy Chris Medina.
And directing your attention behind you, do you recognize this video?
Yes. And the person in the video you see is Chris McDonough.
Okay, and is this when you went to interview Stacey at the jail?
Yes, at the Washington County Jail in Wondra.
Okay. And what prompted that interview?
Stacey Wondra contacted jail staff and requested to speak with detectives about the Michael Vaughan case.
Now, you guys have been fed this narrative that Stacey Wondra was sitting in his cell looking up going, I just can't hang on to these secrets anymore. I can't do this. It's eating me alive. I must say something. I can't take another minute of this pain. That's not it. But that's what's been fed to you. Now, a lot of you don't believe that, but I will tell you that you really need to reconsider when you see and actually hear the clear footage exactly why Stacey Wondra actually reached out to detectives. You're about to hear it. It is nothing as what you've been told.
Okay. When you start the interview, does he indicate what it is he wants out of the interview?
He indicated that he wanted the same deal as Sarah did to provide information about Michael Vaughan.
That is the truth. Let's play that one more again.
Yes, and the person in the video you see is Chris McDonough.
Okay, and is this when you went to interview Stacey at the jail?
Yes, at the Washington County Jail in Wondra.
Okay. And what prompted that interview?
Stacey Wondra contacted jail staff and requested to speak with detectives about the Michael Vaughan case.
Okay. When you start the interview, does he indicate what it is he wants out of the interview?
He indicated that he wanted the same deal as Sarah to find information about Vaughan.
Same deal that was given to Sarah. So there is something that happened on Sarah's side of things that is now happening in current time with Stacey because of his call. He didn't call in to confess his sins. He didn't call in because of the guilt weighing heavily on his mind. No. He was curious as to what not only are they giving Sarah, but who do you think he got that from? How did he find that information out? Well, this lady on your screen right here is very sneaky. And multiple times throughout this investigation, she will befriend one of the suspect's family members under the guise of helping. That's what their job is. But how they do it is still egregious, in my opinion, when you have to lie or have to manipulate to get what you think you need. But when you manipulate older people where their loved ones are suspects, you have to go to their moms or their grandmothers who are 80. That's where I draw the fucking line with these cops. I understand wanting to get information, but if you're trying to manipulate them to get to people that don't have any evidence against them at this point, there's something wrong with you as a police investigator. You're trying to do something shady.
And apologize again, it's going to be a little bit closer here, that's look behind you. All right, so what I've got here is pre-marked as Stacey Exhibit 12. Are you familiar with these file names? Do those look familiar?
Yes, they do.
Okay, and are the actual file names timestamps of when the videos were taken?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so taking the top one that's currently highlighted, where it says 2022 underscore 110 underscore 203340 underscore 004.
Two more officers, saying. So would it be possible, I'm watching the claim that with
I'm worried about her. Give me a break. Anyway, so if you notice, I'm not going to replay that, but if you notice, Benjonet girl, deal with it with your trifling ass. But you'll notice that the the defense attorney is looking very cautiously at the dates that they're pulling up. Hi, Mimi Jean. Welcome in, love. You could see that he's intently looking at the dates on the screen. Because again, I'm going to tell you, like the last live, not these two bunk-ass lives I tried to do, but a few days ago, there are missing videos that we have not seen yet. There's a November 5th, 2022 interview that we have not seen yet. There are November 10th, 2022 videos from many different detectives and all of them at the same time. That one is I just know it's crucial, though that's set. We haven't seen those either. We're jumping all the way into the next day, the third set of interviews on November 11th, 2022. So we're missing a big chunk of things that went down. And that's why we're about to watch Stacey Wondra blabber on and on and on for a good while about what he doesn't know, what he's already said, what he, maybe boofed on a few things here and there, but for the most part, he's like, I don't have anything to give you. And then boom, Chris Medina says those magical 10 minutes of crap, in my opinion. And here he sings like a canary. So we're missing, again, 2 different days, 2 different sets of interviews with detectives. So you have to wonder what happened in between November 5th and 10th that these detectives were doing. Beat bopping around, doing some shit. All right?
One that's currently highlighted, where it says 2022 underscore 1110 underscore 203348 underscore 004.
Can I pause this for just 1 second? So would it be possible, I'm watching the Detective Craner
No, they
neck.
can't. Craner neck. Too bad.
State's Exhibit 12, which is the
So this right here is stating that on November 10th, 2022, these were all of the interviews done. But in the testimony of Juanita, she says the 11th. So there's kind of a mix up between like which date. It obviously says November 10th here. But she states no, it was November 11th. So, I don't know. All I can tell you is that there's a confliction of timelines here.
confession that occurred on the 10th, or the conversation that occurred on the 10th of November 2022.
Any objection from this defense?
No objection.
All right, State's 12 will be admitted. And just for identification purposes, it's an interview with law enforcement and Mr. Wondra on or about the 10th of November of 2021.
That is correct, Your Honor.
On or about the 10th of November. So even the judge is saying, just so the record's clear, on or about the 10th of November? Because I think we're all still confused here.
And the
2021.
oh, sorry, 2022.
Okay.
And the physical
Get it
form of
together.
the exhibit is a flash drive. We can mark the outside of it when we're done here, but contained in this flash drive are going to be 3 exhibits. And so, depending on what gets admitted and where we end up, we can delete anything that's superfluous out of there.
You provided a copy of the flash drive or whatever to the defense, or?
We've shown them a copy of it.
No, we just showed him a copy of it. We haven't given them everything yet. We didn't give him no drive. We just, here you go. We showed you a little screens he shot and deal with it. What? Excuse me? That's not proper, but okay.
Okay. They have a copy.
We do not have a copy.
We don't have our own copy, but we show them the contents of the placard prior to today's hearing.
I believe we have reviewed all the video. It has.
Look, bruh. Look at, and I'm sorry I say bruh a lot. I have to hear it all day with these kids playing those kind of videos, the memes. But what now? Look at Brian Lee's face. He's like, the hell you say? I'm confused. Oh no, it froze. Hold on, let me reset it. It's a big file. It's a huge video. Hold on. Big.
All right, Mr. Duke, go ahead.
Okay, and
Or whatever to the defense.
of what occurred during the interview.
Yes, it is.
Okay, this time the move to admit State's Exhibit 12, which is the confession that occurred on the 10th. The exhibit is a flash drive. We can mark the outside of it when we're done here, but contained in this flash drive are going to be 3 exhibits. And so, depending on what gets admitted and where we end up, we can delete anything that's public.
You provided a copy of the flash drive or whatever to the defense, or?
We show the copy of it.
They have a copy.
We do not have them.
We don't have the wrong copy. We usually contest the prior time.
I believe we have reviewed all the video. It has been provided to us. It just hasn't been provided to us in the flash document.
Do you find that that's helpful? This matters to me. You have one more thing, you have the information, but,
Generally, have the information, but I haven't received it.
To everyone, it's like, what's the big deal? Well, if the defense isn't giving them everything, they're showing them, hey, look what we have. Like we have this, but we haven't given them everything. How did the defense get? How did the defense get everything that they need to see? That's a problem. How did they get it? And I'm trying not to be conspiratorial here, but because they could have just FOIA'd it from Washington County. But why did they get it from the defense? What are they hiding, allegedly? Could another entity, such as the Idaho State Police or the FBI, have these videos? Perhaps. Maybe. We will see.
and one other kind of detail, I appreciated council stands to speak. I think it's useful. But if, for practical reasons, it's easier to sit down and run technology or whatever else. I don't have any objection. I don't perceive it as an act of disrespect. You don't stand up every time you speak. So.
Yeah. I apologize, Aaron. Just because I'm running the computer is why.
Yeah, well, I just don't want you to worry about it.
Okay.
You stand up when you talk to a judge, Dookie. Come on now.
Handle it how you need to.
All right, so Ms. Kelleher, or Detective Kelleher, so you went over there on the 10th of November. Do you remember when that interview concluded, that first one?
When it ended,
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. The timestamps will be on video.
She remembers.
Did you go back and interview Mr. Wondra a second time?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and do you recall the date that that occurred?
I believe it's the 12th,
Okay, would that be
the next day. Well, later on that. Yeah.
and then, here, I'm gonna queue up one of those videos. Give me just a moment. Hold on, I'm getting it.
So you saw the screenshot of November 10th earlier. Now you're going to see that this is dated November 11th. So I wasn't lying to you when I said we're missing a bunch of videos that we have not yet to see. And obviously Chris Madonna was in the one the day before. And now he's back again on the 11th.
All right. So I'm going to draw your attention to this video that's up there. Oh, you've got a binder in the way. Just a moment. Okay. And do you recall are you familiar with this video?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And is this what is shown in this video?
We were using the in-talks room. That is where Stacey asked to meet. I moved to the back of the room to sit far back as I can. That way, Stacey doesn't feel like I'm blocking the room like that. And
More on his channel many a time. Miranda rights mean a lot of things. You have to get your Miranda rights read if you feel like or if there's any insinuation that you're being, kind of interrogated, or if there's any illusion of being held to talk about a criminal matter. There are layers to that. So it's ironic that she says, I didn't want him to feel like he was being interrogated or anything like that. Well, okay, because it sounds a lot like it later on, doesn't it?
Just getting settled in to speak with him after he requested to talk to us.
And is this the second day, that the next day of the interview?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is, we did one on the 5th, and this is the one after.
Well, so this would be
Sneaky, sneaky Kelleher. That's not true. You're missing the 10th of November. So why is she skipping the 10th of November? What happened? Did you do a procedural boo-boo? Maybe.
the
The 11th.
11th?
Yes.
And so the first interview took place on the 10th, correct?
The 5th.
Okay, the second interview took place on the 10th?
Yes.
And then, so this would be the third interview?
Yes.
Okay. And is this a true and accurate, have you reviewed these videos?
Yes, I have.
And is this a true and accurate representation of what occurred during that?
Yeah. We're gonna skip over it. So basically just know that there's some buffoonery going on with these dates of these videos, okay? We'll find out probably during pre-trial, I'm sure. This is the video of Stacey Wondra talking to his adoptive mother after the whole, alleged confession. This is right after that. All right, so we're going to skip through all of the procedural crap.
Stacey Wondra.
Yes, they are.
Okay. At this time, I move to admit Stacey said it 14.
As you wish, go to the publishing, so I'll just let you kind of manage what's public first and when. To the top of that.
Okay, so here we are back at a November 10th, allegedly. I would assume that that's accurate. I don't really know. There could be a day off on some timings here. I don't freaking know. But let's go. This is where it begins.
Yeah, you can't discuss.
My apologies, this is exhibit 12.
12, I think.
Got this same show what we did before, okay, right here. Alright.
This is Detective
You can't
Crimmins.
discuss anything about the reason why you're here, okay? Nothing about the gun case. If that comes up, alright, and again, every time, alright, okay. We ask you, the question about understanding rights, the director is not, you may say, you know, this is considered or law, you know, it's not the lawyer, or vice versa. We ask you, anyone, you have with your question.
This would be the first time that the audio is actually clear enough to understand for the most part. There's some clips that are just trash because of the audio that was picked up by the news cameras. It's just awful. But you can actually hear, right? Let me know if you still have issues with it. I'll still try my best to enhance it even further because I can do that now. I'm an expert apparently after these few weeks. But let me know if you think it's better.
We're aware, what will be the plan forward to before the question? If you decide to answer questions now, not aware, but you still have the right to stop answering at any time when you talk to the lawyer. Understand? I know I've asked you this before, you read and understand it, English, right? It's been quite a experience, yes.
I just put a no at the end of everything.
No.
Yeah, like telephonio, yeah, see, it sounds right. What is this thing? That was horrible. Yeah.
So let's just skip that. This is where it starts officially.
So what's going on tonight? Would you want to speak with us?
Well, talking to my mom, I guess she's like this light at the end of the tunnel, I guess. She's supposed to be the mayor of information.
So what's going on tonight? I heard you wanted to speak with us, says Miss Kelleher. Well, my mom talked to my mom, says Stacey. She's the light at the end of the tunnel, I guess, and she wants to be the relayer of information. Well, whomever gave her such information to relay, I wonder.
She's looking at it. I'll let you guys brought up the word, we brought up whatever the same thing that's wrong, etc. Or the change for help my Michael. Like, I don't, like, in the sense of helping to find Michael, I don't have the issue with going out and trying to help locate and search and, like on that aspect. I don't, I guess I want to help, be just over on the other aspects. I like help. But it is, this is actually not, my thoughts, he's not what I thought.
I don't have anything else to give. I talked to my mom, and she said that she had talked to you guys or whatever, and that they were going to give Sarah a plea deal. And I would love to help try to locate or search or whatever. So he's getting it from his own mother. That's why she's so important in this situation. We haven't seen that footage. We have not seen that call between Stacey and his mother prior to this date, which would be fantastic to know what day that was. I would assume that it's either the day before or this day, November 10th, earlier, that Mama and Stacey were on the phone. So you're going to hear exactly what information his mother was fed and how Stacey's gears are turning and going. So no, the crap that you hear out there that he had this guilty conscience and he wanted to pin it on everybody else and he just couldn't take it anymore is bullshit. Hear me loud and clear on that. This is very much because his mother talked to detectives first and planted the bug in his ear. That's what happened.
It's like, at this point, I don't really have any more to give other than I just want to know if, like, when you tell my mom that you're willing to, offer me some clear lunch dinner, I'm not going to physically going out to try to locate how they with the search or whatever it may be, or is it just, feeding you guys information? Because I haven't given you guys what I know, like I already know what hours valuable information. But I don't have a problem at all with like helping with the search because I want to do it. That's what I'm
to help find Michael. Well, what do detectives allegedly know that has nothing to do with these 4 people? What's going on in the investigation where there's something, who knows what it is, that they're really trying to do a specific targeted search? And why are they here talking to Stacey after basically going 5 months without saying a peep to him? And there was 5 months prior to that they didn't say anything either. So what are they doing here? There must be something in the background that we have no idea what's going on. And I'm sure he knows it. And I'm sure they know it. He doesn't. So there is either a player or a few players outside of the 4 suspects named that are maybe in different custody. Maybe they were hemmed up in jail along with these folks that maybe knew them prior to this event. We don't know, but there's something going on.
It's not fair to set his mother and,
So, I don't think that, sometimes it takes a little time for us to go over stories and stuff, especially things that happen to us and remember everything that's happened. And I don't think you've told us everything. I think there's probably still some more information that.
Amen, true crime baddies.
And it would depend on what information you have as far as.
Okay, so she's laying the foundation. It depends on what you got. Depends on what you got. Depends on what, if it yields, as JD Huff loves to say, if it yields, it yields. Then we might talk. So there's another planted seed in the mind of Stacey.
I gave you guys what I had. Like I told you guys last time, I have a problem with and trying to help find this little boy. But as far as knowledge of his warehouse or, where, I'm giving you guys where it could be. I've talked about, where I seen the double. That's literally.
Okay, what I've seen with the duffel bag. Now, that's not mentioned until way later in this video, but that sounds more ominous than it really is. What I've seen with the duffel bag, you're thinking, oh my God, he saw some blood on the duffel bag, or this duffel bag is bulky or something like that. No. He basically just describes, when asked, and this is all coming from Stacey to me, so take that with however you want to take it. This is what detectives asked about this, any kind of bag, any kind of backpack. This was coming from messages in between, and I have that. Matter of fact, should I show you? Yeah, I don't even care anymore. I really don't. Especially this late. No fucks have been given tonight. Let me just pop over here and find it. But while I'm looking, okay, this was a message between the two. So this is coming from metadata, why they're asking about duffel bags and things. Because basically, Sarah had dropped off a bag to Brandon that he had left over at at their house. And I believe it was a duffel bag or a backpack. It could be one or both. Who knows? But he carried his clothes in these things, or tools for his to repair whatever car he was working on over there. So that's what's going on here. So it sounds worse, and I'm pretty sure a good detective or a good team could find what they're looking for if there is a shady duffel bag or backpack situation. Okay. I will go ahead and push play so you don't have to wait, but I will bring that up if I can find it.
But I have, I want to have more so I can help find this little boy. But that's why I'm literally like, I want to do this eye test because I really think you guys, I get, as you said, well, what if you fail? Are you still, I'm not going to fail. That's what it's at. I know for a fact, and hopefully you guys want to see it, but, you guys are detectives, like, I'm just a person who's trying to help find us some boy anyway, in which way I can, just like I was doing on the out.
Screen interruptions, but just like I was doing on the outside, I was trying to help you guys when you were bombarding me with questions and giving me a lie detector test when you came and arrested Sarah on April 13th and then came and got my ass on May 8th for unrelated federal gun charges. Okay. If anybody can remember the Tanner Dogbone T-Bone looking ass incident. And I'm still not so sure about that character. I still do not. I don't get why he was even there in the first place. But anyway. So here are some calls on the 13th and 14th of December between Brando, which is Brandon Shirtliff, and I will tell you, Stacey likes to bombard your ass. If you don't answer the first time, he gonna call you at least 20 times. I have proof on my phone of that from the jail. Okay. He just he relentless. So, hey, you need to answer your phone. Sarah's dropping off your stupid bag. Your stupid bag. This was in December. So, are you telling me that if there is some dangerous evidence-filled bag, he's still using it? He was still staying off and on with the Wondras. Are you telling me that this stupid bag that had allegedly Michael in it, they're reusing it because they're psychopaths? No, get the fuck out of here. Or this is a completely separate bag that has nothing to do with anything. But what I'm trying to tell you is that this information about bags and stuff are coming from messages that they were questioned on. Not that because of some, oh my God, I saw a bag with this, that, and the other. That comes out of Stacey's lying mouth later to try to convince, in my opinion, the investigators that he's actually telling the truth. What a joke.
I mean, I don't think you guys understand. I don't have what you're looking for. And I think once we do the eye test, you guys are going to be like, well, it really wasn't a lot. Like, and that's my point I was trying to make is like, I get you guys have your due diligence and your job to do or whatnot, but I'm also telling you, as someone, I've given you guys what I can. But I also know that there's a certain point beyond above the you get stuck at a point where you don't have anything else to relate. And when I talk about having else to relate, not having anything else to relate, it's not going to walk you into it. So I don't want to cooperate. I mean, what you guys telling me, I would, give you guys information, what I collected. If you don't want to cooperate, I want this little found. Trust me, I want him to be found. Like, I have many nieces and nephews, I've got friends that have got boys, no one knows if it's like, to be able to that one person, which is what being able to, because I mean, I'm sure anybody else, that's digital bad name. And it's not.
Um, let's see. The murders, the Moscow murders happened just right after this, which is just bombshell. Like, that's crazy about the timing, right? So I wonder how this affected his investigative partaking, if you will, with the stress of all of this going on as a cold case foundation detective, or the face of cold case foundation. Like, I wonder if that had anything to do with hurrying this little thing up. Come on, we got to make a name. We got to make my name. That's just my opinion.
Why I want to go through and do with this whole eye test thing. I want to see what you guys are trying to offer because I feel like once I complete the eye test and you guys see that he's really hasn't lied to us. I mean, I really feel like with all the stuff that I had to go through, that I still should be like negotiated or given a deal to because of the information I have related to you guys. Even though it's not, you guys think it's not everything I know, what I've given you is where I still feel like being pushed. You know, in this position, like you're not finding out. They're not lying. That's what it is.
People to hear this right now that know this case, or locals. God, send it to your local friends and pay it, because he's saying, like, what I've given you is what I've given you over and over and over. I want this little boy to be found. And then he even goes a step further and says, I think that you should give me something in return for being put through this. Like, we need to negotiate a deal because of the issues it's caused me. Because I don't want to be hemmed up. Literally, he says, I'm tired of being hemmed up on an effing gun charge. I want my freedom. He says this later. That is the motive for this entire thing. First of all, his family member, his mother, is getting manipulated by police. Then somebody with his mental things going on, he's trying to get ahead of it. And 3, they're not listening to him. They're taking what he's saying and spinning it, and you'll hear it. You'll hear it. Trust me. But it's very clear here. He is starting out with, look, I don't have a damn thing to say. Matter of fact, Mom called me and said, this is what's going on, and I called you down here to get the story straight. I want to know what kind of information you're relaying to her, and what we need to clear this up. And then maybe we can make a deal together. Because I'm Stacey, and anybody that harms me, I need to be compensated for it in some way. My time is valuable, and I'm not kidding. He really thinks that. So that's what's going on here.
Like I would never. There's more things you all fuck with about my friends, my family, my friends as kids, money for food. Food being the fourth. I wouldn't be a second. But, you know, I literally am a very, very, very firm believer in those things. And to mess with somebody else's life like that, with like what's happened, is completely beyond anything. I mean, it's real. I just had it, but it's unreal to me that I'm having to sit here and face. You know, yeah, you guys have, you know, your whatever your investigation, your research, whatever it is. But for instance, as somebody who is not and hasn't been a part of that particular situation, I don't know. Like, I want to help you guys as much as I can, but I'm not, you know, I have anything else to work on. I just know that you guys are on, you know, whether the search or whatever, so I saw all those parameters.
clean as it's going to get sometimes. I'm sorry, but at least you can hear what's being said and you can't, don't have to guess. I just know that you guys, if I'm willing to help,
Willing to help, within the search or whatever.
within the search or whatever. So I asked my mom, well, what are the parameters? He's like, well, what do you mean? What about this deal? Are you telling me that Sarah's going to get out to help search? He's confused, obviously. He's like, I'm not understanding here because I don't think it's wrapped around his mind yet that Sarah actually did something or that they have this bombshell that these other people are actually involved. He's picking up what they're laying down, but he's like, I'm still, what do you mean? Well, if they are, I'd love to help you find whatever you think that. Do you get what I'm saying? He's saying, I'll help with whatever. Would you mind getting me out of this jail, though? Because it sucks. This federal charge bullshit is for the birds. I'll help you, you help me. That's exactly what's going on, and this is being funneled through his own mother. And it's going to bite Stacey in the ass.
So, what are the parameters? She goes, we're gonna have to talk to them. So I was like, okay. And that's why I called you guys, because it's like.
And that's why I called you guys, because mommy said, you're going to have to talk to them, dude. I'm telling you what I know, what they told me. And if you can help, call them down there. So now I'm wondering what the hell happened the day before, or what the hell happened on November 5th. Something must have went down. Maybe a disagreement or something.
I mean, even after this whole testing thing, like that I wanted to do with you guys, and if it comes back like I'm telling them the truth, and I haven't lied, and I still want to work a negotiation or something out with you for having to go through what I had to go through in this long of a process. It doesn't, and I talked to Sarah.
And now we're getting into, okay, they're not buying this. They're not gonna offer no deal. This is not what I thought. And you can tell that, okay, they need more. They're not buying it. Look at Chris Madonna's smug fucking look. You think you're smart, don't you, sir? You think you've got it all figured out. You can just see it on his smug face that he is ready. He is ready for the strike any moment. He's just got to be a little more patient. You can see it.
What she told you, but I asked, I told her, I said, why is all this, what's all this stuff going on with, God, and the soul, I mean, I was appalled when she was like, well, I'm literally, you're talking on the phone to you with fire. I said, I literally died a couple of years ago, and got up and back, being prophesized. I was like, what are we traumatized?
That's called being off of your schizophrenia medication and also being a type 1 diabetic. She's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, okay? But there are things definitely that Sarah needs help with, especially right before she got arrested a day or two later, because Stacey had all of this knowledge all of a sudden that literally did not happen.
But,
Oh my God. Look who it is back there. Let's scoot this back. I'm sorry. Oh, is that Bryce Crimmin? Oh boy. I just realized that is Bryce Crimmin. The one that has always been around. The detective son, Scott Crimmin's son, who snuck into, Stacey's things and got the unfinished letter that was supposed to be held, not to go out, and then didn't make a report about getting this letter, sent a photo to detectives, and then stuck it back like nothing happened. That Bryce Crimmin. Oh boy.
the all that shit going on. It's just like, and then she goes, well, I'm not talking to the detectives about, she goes, I'm not turning on you like they're saying that they're going to. I don't believe her. I don't, greatest, yes, she can tell me all she wants. I had nothing, she knows damn well I had nothing to do with me. And so I let her, she's going to do what she's going to do. I don't know if she already was speaking about it.
Stand. Sarah's being told the same thing Stacey's being told. They're going to roll on you. They've been cheating, they've been whoring, they've been whatever. They've been doing all these things behind your back. And if you can help us find Michael, if you can give us information, there's a deal. There's a deal with the prosecutor. I'm sure that he would love to help you out. But there's a disclaimer, isn't there? You always have to testify against them, don't you? And that's the problem here. This is what kind of a mess we're in right now. Because nobody has anything to say. Not now. Stacey sure did, but it's all fabricated, as he states himself. So, what do we do?
Honestly, I don't really care. I don't trust her as far as the door. And that's another thing. I do the shit that I've heard really bad, but she's done me on that. Not meaning or mind you, some of the stuff that I've done behind her back, those guys act like vehicle, but if you had been in a predicament, some of the situations that I've been in with her, being held again, being held at, with the butcher that to do zero, wouldn't probably be happy your relationship. I can't see you code it. It's hard. Just wrap it around here. That's the fact that she goes up. Yeah. Just vital.
How do you know for a fact that she knows something? Who told her that she knows something? What is it that she knows? What is it that you don't know that she knows? I'm really curious. What did y'all say?
I'm the type of person that if I know something, even at the start of all that shit, that's not something I would ever need to see. Taking a little boy or taking a kid from his family, I would kill somebody alleged if somebody did that to my family. And it's just, that's what I'm saying. I want to help you guys, but I don't have any new information. I just know that my mom told me, you guys had some sort of food deal that you guys proposed to Sarah. And I mean, I'd like to propose the same thing, or the same thing.
What a wheeler dealer. Stacey's like, okay, check it. I'm going to propose the same thing and raise you 100. Granted though, under my conditions that, what does he say?
This test comes back the way I was going.
Oh, granted on the fact that this eye test is going to really bring this on home. Let me pass this eye, Polly. Give me the deal. Whatever. And we're good to go, right? I don't have anything to give you. I don't know where Michael is. I don't know what she knows. I'm just saying, look, I'm going to get ahead of Sarah here. You told me she was doing this and that behind my back. F you. F you, Sarah. I'll show you. And that's exactly what's going on here. It's very clear.
With Sarah, and with, The only way that I can like to know is if I just know. And I'm not asking medical cert. I want to let me break this out. And that's the only deal I would. It seems like in the beginning of this investigation, there was a little bit of apprehension about other what was going on. Right after Michael's disappearance, they just have no words for you guys officers.
Okay, so Juanita is switching gears. She's like, oh shit. Well, the only thing I told Sarah was that if we found Michael, you give us that information, we'll work with the prosecutor. That's it. That's the only deal I would have made. And look how disappointed he is. Oh, shit. I'm not getting out of this gun charge. Son of a bitch. All right. So watch the demeanor change immediately. He's not so... I know, let me take that back. I think he doesn't give up yet. He doesn't give up just yet. But eventually he's like, yeah, this is going nowhere. All right. What do you want? You could tell. You'll see it.
They really didn't get a very good idea of what was going on at that time. And so those were some of the things that bothered me and that it was really like you would be 100% truthful everything, no matter what it is. And so
In aspects of what was going on at the time he disappeared. I'll tell you, I'm not gonna go into the whole specific dates thing because obviously it's like not like just like it's really yeah. So I'm just not even going to dates, but at that time, Sarah and I both conceived with the person whole time on the time. Sarah had always worked with
Very weird situation with basically Sarah getting to do what she wants to do with other guys because I have a feeling she can't stand his ass, Stacey's ass. That's just me talking audience to creator here. I gets the feeling that Sarah had a hard time being with Stacey. They fought all the freaking time. And I think that this was just a convenient story to basically say we kept it open a little bit. We kept our options open for a little bit while we were struggling, and it didn't work out. Sarah doesn't want children. She had one. She gave her up for adoption and talked to her, from my understanding, all the way up until she got arrested. So, and I think actually, I take that back. She still talks to her. And yes, I do communicate with Sarah Wondra. Not a bad person. I'm a great person for it, actually, because it keeps her hope going all the time. Amongst many, many others, actually, that are way more important than I ever could be. Then I talk to her and give her encouragement. Because she always says she's innocent and that'll never change. So, innocent until proven guilty is how our system works, right? So this is kind of getting into like the weeds of their relationships, and I have no idea why they think that over there on the other side, the guilters, why that matters in the case of Michael Vaughan. Michael was 5 at the time. There's no evidence or indication that they wanted a 5-year-old child at all. At all. This is just something that was used against Stacey, by Stacey, to fuck with Sarah.
With me, it was just Brandon, Jesse. After figured out that I wasn't working with Jesse, and then Brandon came to the picture. And,
Was this specifically for child, or did you guys just have like an open relationship where you were doing sex?
What I wanted was specifically for a child.
What is terrible?
She made it seem like she wanted just to do it for a child too. But after hearing the whole story, sexual
Or not about the oral sex with Adrian. Like, I honestly, it does not matter. And I feel bad that that this is being broadcasted for the world, like their intimate stuff, because it's irrelevant to Michael. And I don't know why people want to make it something it isn't. You know, there's no evidence to suggest that anybody did anything to Michael. No crime was even committed in the way that Stacey says it, or evidentiary wise. So why? I think it's good to skip it. If you disagree, let me know and I'll put the whole thing out. I mean, you can find it for yourself now, but I just think that it's not necessary. But I will play it, or I'll put the whole thing out there so that you want to listen to it. I just don't think it's relevant. It's disgusting.
or Sarah trying to cover up. Again, like the whole aspect of her, you know, and, um, sorry, the conversation we had last week, you know, it wouldn't surprise me, again, like I said, you know, knowing, not, I guess not so much knowing, but like with her going on this rampage of my God, and, you know, none of this stuff started happening. I just believe it.
Religious thing, because Juanita is so obsessed with this girl, with Sarah's change in behavior after Michael went missing. When this girl has been a religious fanatic, bare minimum since 2018. I have videos on it where she is doing the same shit she's doing up until she got arrested about God. She is textbook, um, you know, burn in hell for your sins. Everybody deserves it. But by the grace of God, He loves me. She's a Bible thumper. Um, she takes everything literally. She has been this way her whole life. But evidentiary wise, there's proof from 2017 and 18 till present day. Okay. She loves her God. She loves her religion. That is a bold-faced lie. They were fighting during that time. People have relationship problems. So that's a bold claim for Stacey to say that. What I think he's doing is trying to prep them, because he didn't get the deal that he was kind of hinting at, and they're not buying what he's selling. So he's got to give him a little more.
Like, I've never seen her go into this whole realm of, you know, kind of now's the time to come forward and confess your sins to God.
Well, what else was happening in the house at that time?
I don't know.
Or was that it?
I mean, there's a lot of, aside from doing like side gigs and stuff like that, we did a lot of taxi rides for people.
A rendition of what we all know. Doing taxi rides, doing side gigs, doing this and doing that. And Juanita is like, tell me more about that. Every time he answers it and he says, ends his explanation with and that was around the time that this happened. Tell me more about that. So it just keeps getting into these little weedy details that nobody gives a shit about but her and these detectives to try to find an end to go, that doesn't make any sense. This circumstantial shit you're talking of, we have evidence. That's when Chris comes in. You'll see it. So we're going to skip that. Again, if you want to watch it for yourself, this is at the 44-minute mark. You're going to hear a bunch of just, what about this? What about that? What about isms that, in my opinion, mean nothing.
Do you remember the incident with the pizza person and
Yeah, I have that report with the pizza guy, Jaden Garcia, the Pizza Hut delivery guy, on July 24th, 3 days before Michael went missing, came to the door, tried to open the screen door, and Sarah was spooked and said, did somebody just try to open the door? Now, mind you, she already knew about the pizza being ordered. She did it, which is ironic that, the pizza was ordered over at the Vaughan house that day. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. But somebody had tried to enter their door without them being home that prior to this incident. And so they were kind of spooked out. So Sarah must have had a moment and forgot that she ordered the damn pizza because she threatened to shoot this dude for trying to break in her house because she was spooked about other people or a person trying to break into their house, a few days prior. That's on the report. That's what Stacey is literally just saying. That damn pizza guy, I know, my God. So, Jaden, sorry, I'm sure your name's going to be blasted everywhere. But yeah, they were on the do not deliver list because of the because of the situation with the pizza. Had no dog bones to throw.
Yeah, I know exactly. So Sarah, and it was just Sarah, and I'm trying to remember.
it looks like we saw you in the splash pad. You'll be back in the neighborhood. Can you start by
Seeing Juanita's just like, okay, let's go over. Let me see if he messes up on anything he told us prior. We're gonna get this motherfucker just to do something. We're tired of this. So out of nowhere, this is what really gets me. She's asking about the day of the events leading up to the time Michael disappeared. She wants to know every detail. All right? And she's asking, where was Brandon? Where was Sarah? Where was Adrian? Where were you? What were you doing? What was the conversation? She wants to know every single thing. Why not? When in Rome? Let's play.
That's why.
where was Sarah at that time? Do you remember what was going on that day?
So you can tell right here, Stacey's tired of the fucking questions. You can tell he's getting irritated just by the tone that I know, because I've pissed him off too. Y'all think that this is rainbows and butterflies over here? It ain't at all. But you can tell that he's getting really stressed out and done with this. So he's getting snippy. But she keeps asking questions. What were you guys planning on doing that day? He says, well, Brandon came up to me later after they got back from wherever and wanted to get the Mercedes hooked up in Cuna to take to their house so they could fix it because he needed it for a job. His probation hearing depended on it. Not a lot of people knew that. And if you want the proof on that, shit, let's do it. Because I've had it with this case. Gotta get that car so I don't go to jail, yo. Right here. In December, Brandon says, gotta get that car. That Carson has had for months at this point. That he had the key to. The RSO neighbor. Gotta get the car so don't go to jail, yo, and get a job for next week, man. Have to. It's a must. Bro, it's not my responsibility. You need to figure this out. We do not associate with Carson. This is all you. If you want your vehicle so bad, then you need to come out here and make it happen. We're not your guinea pigs anymore, man. Besides, if you want this so bad, you need to make it happen. Okay? Can you just walk over? Can you just walk your fucking ass over to your next door neighbors and ask? Because I got no ride today. I'm going to go to jail. Stacey says, what part of we do not have any association with Carson don't you get? I have already explained this to you. You need to figure this out on your own. You got yourself into this mess. You can get yourself out. And here's the other thing. I have asked you to look at this, baby. And here's the other thing. I have asked you to write a letter regarding the whole Michael Joseph thing and how we would never do anything like that to a little boy. And you still have not done that. So maybe here's where I'll stand. When you can figure out how to write a letter, that'll be the day I might walk over to the Carsons. Until then, quit asking me. Mind blown. That is bombshell. Listen, writing a letter, asking someone to write a letter to confirm your alibi is not a bad thing. An alibi is a good thing. It's when your alibi is actually proven to be false. That's the problem. And they can't do that in this case. They failed, at least to this point. So, does that sound like two people who have knowledge of Michael Joseph? Does that look to you like they have some kind of secret information that they're just playing off for this invisible people looking at their messages in December of 2021 that they don't even know they're suspects of a case? No. They're actually having a legitimate argument. And Stacey's saying, write the letter, bro. It's not hard. Write the letter. Maybe I'll try to help you get your car back that Carson Starkey, the registered sex offender, has that was supposed to work on it. Now, mind you, Carson told police he has no idea about working on this vehicle, even though he testified that he helped the Wondras with vehicle maintenance and working on other vehicles. Hell, Carson's ex-wife, Dorothy, he bought a car off of Stacey and gave to her. There's a lot that you guys don't know. And there's way more than that.
What you guys planned that day?
We had talked, we briefly discussed it, I told you in the morning, but I didn't really make a permanent plans to go move right in his car.
So this is getting kind of like redundant. It happens when your star witnesses are RSOs. Oh, Sunflower Soul. That's right. When your star witnesses are RSOs, you know you don't got a case. That made me chuckle. Thank you for that.
So when you came back from the taxi ride, you came back in the neighborhood. Can you start by telling me everything that happened? So when you got home, then what?
This person would do something, I'm sure.
So there is nothing bombshell that you need to hear. Again, if you want to listen, you can on your own later when I post this. But basically, he reiterates, the same thing we've all heard. The same freaking thing that was in the prelim earlier. There's nothing. There's no big bombshells. Okay.
She's one well, I'm here, so I was calling Fluffy back.
This audio is just god awful. It just takes a nosedive here, and really, you can hear it if you have headphones, but it sucks. And there's really nothing valuable at all. So he was asked if he saw anything like going into the garage, or was there any indication that he saw or that he remembers seeing or hearing that Michael could have been in that house? I will remind you what the Idaho State Police investigation stated. Everything they tested, everything they did, went through everything with a fine-tooth comb. There was nothing. Okay? Nothing. So he basically states, we went through the garage. I typically go through the garage whenever I get home, go through the laundry room, open the door to the laundry room, shut the door. I'm in the house now. I have never seen a tricycle. Why would I need a tricycle? What would I do with it? I didn't see that ever. And he says things like, look, I don't know what, when I was eating in between 5 and 7 o'clock before we left, I don't know. We talked about some Snapchat business, the whole Snapchat thing, which basically there's some allegations that Sarah and Adrian conspired to rob people by acting like, catfishing them. And then when they'd meet up, they go beat them up. I don't see Sarah doing that for a minute. I see Stacey being involved in something like that. Do I have proof of that? I don't. I'm just saying I would believe Stacey would be involved with that more than any of the others. Okay. And I don't know if that's even a thing. And neither does the police because they got that from him. There's no messages or proof that ever happened. So Stacey could just be lying out of his ass, and he does it a lot. Yeah, he's getting tired and he's really fed up. I can just tell.
When you got back in the comments, anything that was said, anything that you thought was strange? Okay. And then what happened on the trip?
That's what she's asking. We're almost done, guys.
Same stuff, right?
Nosedive. Chris McDonough had it. You could tell he's like, I'm tired. I want to get the hell out of here. So let's just try one more little last read technique tactic. You can see Chris McDonough is just like, let's go. Let me take over here in a minute. You'll see his hand go up and you'll see him go, I got this.
So what happened on the trip?
I'm sorry you're not getting what you want. Like he said, I keep repeating myself. This is coming from the top of my head. I don't know what you want, but I know this what seems like a waste of time. We've done this before. We're going round and round again. He's getting, and Chris feels this. You can see his face. Chris is like, all right, you know something. It immediately goes to attack mode.
I keep calling you guys because I want to try to help you for some the best way I can.
Well, it sounds like to me that you're insinuating that if the house is involved, that Sarah, Brandon, and Lucy, Adrian could have put Michael when they left, put him in the duffel bag.
So what you're insinuating, says Juanita. I almost said Lawanda. Tomato, tomato, I guess. But he says all of these things that he's not sure who's involved. He's just telling her what he remembers, maybe with some lies and some truths in between. And she jumps from trying to be helpful of what he can remember to, so you're insinuating that if somebody is involved in the house, it's you got put in the duffel bag, right? Okay. And he goes, yeah.
And they come to Kayla. Is that what you're trying to do?
That's, yeah.
I know countries like Denson is going over, but
Yeah, it's like, I'm not, I would recognize those things, like, you have yourself. And that's why I'm just like, not even worried about. Trying to stick by there's somebody else. Like I said, I knew something, I know something,
I know it's hard to hear, but he says, like I said, I'm not really worried about the little details, because if I knew something, I would have told you if I knew that happened. We're at the point of the duffel bag now. Now, look at them. He's adjusting. He's like, we're in for the kill now, baby. We got him. Because he said yes to a question that he thinks somebody's involved in the house. And that he insinuated something which he did not. So, you're about to see the shebang.
if what's happened is what you told me just now happened, then I don't understand why you won't explain the entire story, because I would stick up for you if that was true.
Oh, now you want to be helpful. Now you're offering me something I can work with. And here he goes. Ooh, now you would work with me? Okay, we're back in business.
her story
About what was going on, conversations afterwards, and where Mike's at now.
I don't recall the conversations that I told you, I just know that there was just conversation about going to the people and something about the lake, and something about whether it's something correct. I had, you know, if I had something.
After you got done getting beat. Okay. She sneaks in there that question of, so could you tell me, you need to explain to me the conversations that you had about that day, the trip on the vehicle, and if Michael was in the duffel bag. Just real quick, and if Michael was in the duffel bag. Oh, damn, she's good. Sneaking that little thing in. He's like, look, I don't recall the conversations, making it seem like he had a conversation about Michael in a duffel bag, actually seeing it, which he already said twice he did not see that. If I had something, I'd tell you.
You just sit there and do it. Hey, this is what I'm referring to. When I'm not sitting there trying to just bullshit.
About what was going on, conversations afterwards.
I don't know what else, what other stuff.
Watch Chris with that.
If I had,
Watch his hand.
you know, if I had something, you just sit there and do it. Hey, this is what I'm referring to. When I'm not sitting there trying to just bullshit.
analogy. That's not even nice. But secondly, what buffet are you talking about?
Yes. Our responsibility is also to share that information to the next. Okay. Sarah, Julia, it's not all that. It was smart.
Oh my God. Okay. She's not offering potatoes and beans here. She's offering steak tartare. She's got the goods on you. You better get ahead of it.
But she's getting feel like it. I just find it. She's done it.
Alone, and it's also after midnight here, and I'm tired. But like, ooh, for real, yo?
So let's go ahead. Because I believe inside really do want looking at you and I smart let me look at that. So I don't want you to
He says the one thing that you're good at, because I've been watching you for quite a while.
I don't know how to move. And all I do. That's it. That's it. We don't. She does. That's it.
I said she was on you. On you. We're here to help you. That's the biggest lie you'll ever hear from a police officer. It's the best, biggest, most believable one. We're here to help in these circumstances.
That's all it is. You took a deep breath.
You took a deep breath. Oh God, you're guilty because you took a deep breath. You exhaled really hard. You were that close. To what, Chris? Oh, to tell the truth.
It's fine.
It's time. You're not a bad person. It's time. The buffet. You're hungry. I know you're hungry. Now, that is a big, big deal. Bad people could have done bad things around you. Ding, ding, ding. But it wasn't Brandon and it wasn't Sarah. I have no idea about Adrian because dude didn't talk. Good job, by the way. That's what you should do. I think he's right on that, at least. That's the only thing I can agree with Chris with is that there are bad people around them doing bad things to them, aka setting them up. Oof, hit him right in the kisser with that one. The one person he actually trusts. Your mom knows about your lies over the years. Well, what does that tell you, Chris? Did the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit also false confess? Yes, they did. So everybody And they want him to tell after saying over and over and over and over, I don't know. I don't know. I'm doing the best I can to give you what I got.
So, out of respect for you, and let us have a relationship problem. So he's because she does say something, but Brandon will say something.
So Sarah's going to say something, and then Brandon's going to say something, and then Adrian Lucini Pacini Canini is going to say something. So everybody might get their timelines messed up after a year, after not remembering every little damn detail. But
that's why
this is textbook coercion. Now, I'm not saying Stacey's not aware of that, but what I'm saying is, like, if you are honestly innocent and you hear this shit being done to you, shut the hell up. First of all, get a lawyer. Ask for a lawyer. One can be appointed to you. Okay? No more questions. Should never happen in the first place. But this is a textbook play that costs you all the time.
I think the conversation is not fact because of research and acting is up to them that when it's not very anywhere. I need to know that. I need to know this. And I
What do you need to know? That he was affected by God.
not behind them. I will do it. That's really important. Yeah, there's how that. You can change that. You can change the change that.
Sorry, specifically support people, you know,
I know.
As far, because she just asked. We need to find him, locate him. And I need to know about the conversations you've had about that. He never fucking said that they did. This is getting him to just tell him what he doesn't know, but that she needs to help him. Wow. That's lazy. This is just a back and forth. This information of where we know what others are saying, right? We can't share with you, but we won't tell them what you said. Bullshit. We're not going to play this game with you like we did Sarah. We care about you. We don't want to see you go down. So you got to tell us things you don't know.
I will have you. I don't know if you like that. Would have happened. So maybe something's happening now. Not having that kind of doctor.
It's time to wrap this up. Thank you so much for being here with me for over 2 hours. I appreciate it. But this is the worst false confession, in my opinion, like the lead up to, because I know that you might see a lot of times people who actually are guilty of a crime, where there's evidence to suggest it or prove it, they always start out with, I don't know nothing, I don't know anything. But dude is rolling out information as best as he can on the top of his head. Those people that you see that are actually guilty don't do that. They're vague. They're waiting to see what the detectives say. They don't say anything. You know, that's not what's happening here. Everything that you can go out and look for yourself or research yourself, it is a textbook version of false confession. Or a great week ahead, drink your water. Don't get hemmed up on some charges by the police in the way that Stacey has. Please always ask for your attorney when you get into any kind of a situation where you could be interrogated. Much love. Have a great night. See you on the next live. Bye.
my way, but I know I'll find my way to the puzzle of truth. I'll find my way to the puzzle of truth. I'll find my way to the puzzle of truth. I'll find